date on which Hemingway Parish Council assigned all its share of the money to the resulting assets awarded by the Heritage Refuge Fund. So it was done through the council, but it was always to Hag Lane Green because it was then applied for the money through the Parish Council as the accounting body. But the money was for Hag Lane Green only. It was never intended for anything else. Never awarded for anything else.
The actual, when I took over in March 2009, there was actually no financial transactions for Hag Lane Green from then onwards, apart from the maintenance grant.
Yeah. So we can't really go into what happened before that in detail. There isn't enough detail.
I haven't got any.
Why is it enough detail? Why is it enough detail?
It just isn't.
There's a records book with transactions in the records book, but I haven't got any of the bank account details, statements or anything related to Hag Lane Green because I was never given that right from the beginning.
I know I'm very new to the parish council, this will be my third actually official meeting, but so what's gone on before I don't know. I'd certainly like to know if it's effective in what we've got before us here.
I don't think it makes any difference what we've got before us here, because what we have to look at is the situation that exists, not what it might have started as and what it's got changed to, because it's all been changed from the original setup. The structure of the thing, of the committee, the way it's structured, has been changed. But it's been adopted by the committees. So it's kosher. We don't, it's working, so we don't. It ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'd like to have some history of what it was, if that's possible.
In what form? History of?
Well, what this all refers to.
Well, the last entry, going back to the question of when it was transferred, the last entry in the parish council accounting book was in January 2009. There was nothing after that at all relating to Hag Lane Green. There was no transactions in or out of the parish account relating to Hag Lane apart from the £600.
So what was the original transactions between the parish council and Hag Lane?
That I'm not. I was not party to that. So, like yourself, I had nothing to do with that at all.
Because as a council, I think I'd like to know what we're dealing with here.
Well, there were large sums of money involved originally, and most of it was paid into the parish council and then transferred out of the parish council at the time to Hag Lane Green, who were the recipients of it.
Where did the money come from?
Heritage Lottery Fund, isn't it?
There was a large grant that went in from Heritage Lottery. Yeah.
Which that was made by the parish council?
No, it came into the account from Heritage Lottery and then went back out of the account to the Hag Lane account.
Right.
I can't answer that because I wasn't even on the council at that time.
I'd like to know.
Can I just make a suggestion? Sitting within this meeting tonight, we have the past chairman of the parish council is also the chairman of the head of the Hag Lane Green Conservation Company. I think if you approach him, he may well give you an explanation of it.
No, you know, as I don't, there was a shady dealings with this. You know, the original agreement, constitution, said that belonged to the parish council at all times. Now, the constitution which we got had that paragraph taken out. That was the shady dealing. I did not agree with doing that. The thing I didn't like was when the parish council were handing VAT checks to the Hag Lane Group, which were not VAT registered. I did not agree with that. But I know I was the chair, but I was only one. You councillors overruled me by majority. I had no say in it. Why do you think I walked out with the Hag Lane Group? I know you come with some bullshit excuses, but I believe in being honest. I've earned a lot of money for a lot of charities, and I still do. And I've been in business a long while, and I always believed in honesty. Not none of this shady, well, it was that, but now it's been altered business.
Well, again, if I can just comment, I mean, I don't know the history that Roland's talking about there, But the reason that I joined this parish council was to serve the community of Hellingham. And I think that not only should the dealings of this parish council be open and honest, but should also be seen to be open and honest. And I would certainly like to know about what we're dealing with and what I am now involved with.
I mean, I can give you, I can show you the accounts book, the figures that have come in and out, but I can't comment on that because I wasn't even on the council at that time, so I don't know as to why it came in, why it went out or anything like that.
I'm quite alarmed by what I just heard here about VAT, because if that is the case, that sounds illegal to me.
I knew it was illegal, but it was only one. When you got the previous clerk handing a cheque over to the chair of the Hagley group for VAT, which was a non-registered group, it was wrong, and I will have nothing to do with that. I've been straight on my left. Oh yes, how are you copying? Yeah, you have a lot of answers, but you will not give us.
I have no answers to give you.
Well, that's sort of a mumbling carry on. You can chuck that out the window because that's just a mumbling excuse of, oh, get us out, we pass it to the previous chair.
But just again, whatever the internal politics are of it, all I'm asking for is information so that I know what I'm involved with and what may be ongoing.
We don't actually have that information.
Why not?
The previous clerk might have more bearing on it, Brian Hopper. He might be able to help you with detailed information on what
I think we as a council should know it.
Well, we as a council aren't all people that were here when it was all happening. I was here before when the Hagley Green first started to get financed, but I left the council then for 4 years, so I don't know what happened after that. But I know there were some changes during that 4 years, but I don't know the details.
I think somebody should be looking into the records for the legality of it.
Shall we move on to the next item?
Yes, I don't think we can't get anywhere now.
I think it needs to be dealt with.
This one here. You probably no, answer the letter. We haven't answered all the points on the letter yet.
Yeah, I've lost the bloody letter.
Yeah, well, this is the next part. If you could just read that out.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, could you just read that
Truth of the Joint Conservation Group stroke Parish Council application that states the land is owned by the Parish Council, who will act as the accountable body for the project, and the land is owned freehold or other type of outright ownership, which are statements open to challenge, could be in contravention of the funds and rules and regulations.
Well, that was a telepost, and I told them at the time, the only information they got was a notice board which said notifying Plymouth Parish Council, and a letter from the Lake Mr. Parkin said a tenant used to pay £1 a year rent to farm the little piece of land, the entrance to Cow Lane. And that was all it was based on. Oh, this is the Parish Council land. Look, I do a lot of legal work,
Well,
and I know different.
but it's
And I
been
knew then.
registered as a green now, isn't it?
It's a registered village green.
So that's owned by the Parish Council, isn't it?
No.
Controlled by the Parish Council.
I know who owns it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Could I just ask if anyone knows who signed the document and whose signature's on the document?
My signature's on the document, yes, because I signed it on behalf of the councillors.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Well, we can't go any further. There's nothing else to go on there that we can deal with tonight.
I'd like to know, the question here is, who's doing the fly tipping? I've been told the white transit tips garden waste down there, a wood chip. That's fly tipping.
I haven't got a white transit, so that's not me.
Well, does anyone know where the white transit tips wood chip down there, garden waste?
We'll just stick to the agenda.
Yeah, let's stick to the agenda.
We've got a letter in front of us, which was deferred from the last meeting,
Well,
with questions that need answering.
well, we can't answer them, can we? Appropriately, it seems.
That question is addressed to the parish council, and it appears that the parish council had not discussed these questions. I don't know who put that together, but it certainly wasn't, I wasn't involved in it, and I'm a councillor, and that stinks.
What's it?
that you've got a letter there that we've all got to agree to, but it's been written by who?
Oh, well,
You've had a copy of
you've
it?
got a
The
copy
copy
of
was
it.
given out at last month's
Yeah,
meeting,
I know it
everyone
was,
had
yeah.
a copy.
Well, it's not-
But
it's
we've
not-
never discussed
It's
these
not
as
written
a
by, it's
council.
not written by us, this letter.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I
doing
mean,
now.
But the answers,
That's what the agenda item is.
the answers have never been put together by this council.
No, we haven't discussed it because it was put on last month. was it?
Well, I've just been blamed as signing the first document.
I don't think I blamed anybody, I asked a question.
We're looking for
You said the
information
previous
now.
chair, and I've come up with
We're looking for historic information now, but we're not going to get it.
You
all.
carry on.
So we can't do any more with this
And that's
letter.
what council we've been running all these years.
All we can do with this is look into the details in more depth, try and put together the whole history of the thing, and perhaps put it on the agenda for next month. Because we can't answer these questions.
Well,
accurately.
item 1. Sorry, item 2. Sorry, like I say, the last entry in the accounts book relating to anything to do with Haglane was the 15th of January 2009. There's nothing in the accounts book after that apart from the annual grant that was paid.
Yeah. So we can't answer the questions in that document accurately. We need to do some research on it.
Well, I think it just needs to be discussed, doesn't it? And
We need to have some facts to discuss with. We haven't got them. I'll go and see Brian Hopper, see what he's got up his sleeve, if anything, or what he can remember.
Let's keep out of it.
Hmm?
Well, Brian will keep out of it. But we all know the councillors at the time, Brian used to sit over there and pass the VAT checks to Martin, and it was wrong to do that, and I knew it was wrong. And I was only one councillor.
Whatever, we're not going to sit here all night deciding who was right and who was wrong now. So we can't deal any more with that letter tonight. I'm moving on. I'll get to it, I lost myself again.
So what are we going to do? We're going to have it in the news agenda item.
We'll have it as an agenda item for next week, please.
If we're going to have it as an agenda item, can I just... We need some more information from it. But my understanding is when Roland was the chairman of the parish council, he was the chairman of the group, and the conservation group. The group was set up as an arm's reach organisation because the parish council couldn't apply for funding. Parish council couldn't apply for lottery funding. Consultations took place with Peter Burns, the Selby District Council Solicitor, and Peter Murphy from Groundworks, who was administering the application. The application was put forward by the group. I was a member of the group at the time, as was Roland, as was Martin, Glynis, I believe. I can't really remember when people came on. The group was set up. I put quite a lot of the work into the drawing up a scheme for the works down there. And then the group got some funding through Groundworks to employ an architect to do it. And the architect took away my drawings and reproduced virtually my drawings and charged £1,000 for it, which I thought was pretty easy money, as I'd done most of the work. The group was formed, the constitution was agreed, the constitution was put forward by Peter Burns, the Selby District Council Solicitor, who advised how it should be set up. Advertisements were placed in the village for members of the public to come on, and I believe 4 members of the public put their name forward. A meeting was held in here, a public meeting. There were 4 councillors and 4 members of the public. So the group was formed with 8 people. The application was put forward with the help of Bernard Farrell, who was a great man for funding. He sorted the funding out.
They juggle money about.
With the application and the fact that it was subject to VAT, I think the parish council was advised that it could be the accountable body because it was of a benefit to the village, which it is. It's a big benefit to the village. It's a good asset, as is the one that you're doing. Schemes went ahead and monies were spent. There was no money passed to Hemingway Green. The money was passed from the lottery through the council accounts and then paid to Groundworks, who were the contractors, through Peter Murphy. The Hagley Green Group didn't get any of the money at all. None of it was ever given direct to the group on the first application because the parish council were the accountable body. That scheme went ahead, was completed and opened up the project. Subsequent schemes were put forward and Hemingway Group came to this parish council, the secretary and treasurer came with an application form to get it signed by the parish council, the clerk, as the accountable body again. And it was turned down. I can't tell you why, because as a member of that group, I used to declare an interest and I used to go out with the meetings. So I'm not party to any of those discussions as to what took place. I believe Jan was the chairman at the time then, but I'm sure there'll be minutes of it. What are the thoughts on it?
I know, I'll tell you what it's turned down.
Sorry.
Let's get going on.
Do you let me carry on? I'll give you an explanation to all that. Hemingway Parish Council at that time said it didn't own it, the village group, and therefore it couldn't be the accountable body. I think that was the principle of the letter that was sent to Hagley Green Conservation Group, Treasurer and Secretary, Dennis Hales. So we were left with an application for £50,000 that we put together, and no one who owned the land. A lot of hard work went into trying to trace the owner of the land. North Yorkshire County Council were approached. They didn't own it. They own a little piece of land on the corner which is not part of Hemingway Green. It's a small plot. They own that. Selby District Council were approached. They didn't own the land either. Extensive searches were done through Land Registry and other organisations and no owner could be found. This information was put forward to a solicitor who looked over all the documents and was prepared to sign to say that there was no legal owner of the land from the extensive searches that had gone on, and he was quite happy to do that. That was accepted by the lottery as the fact that there is no owner of the land, and that is still the case today. There is no owner of the land.
Right.
Subsequent schemes have been done direct by Hagley Green themselves. We lost 20% of that application because the VAT couldn't be claimed back and handed back to extend the group, so the scheme was just cut back by 20%. So instead of getting a scheme, we got 80% of a scheme. And we had to fundraise for that 20% in other sources, which we did. The parish council were the accountable body on the first application, because that's how it was wanted to be at the time, but things changed. We're now our own accountable body. Being an accountable body isn't anything that can't be done by the group. It can do the accountable body itself. The group's always had its accounts audited, and they're audited every year, and a copy of the letter is brought to this parish council. Everything it's done is above board and totally accountable, as we like to be, and so do we.
Yeah.
So that's my brief summary of it, but
Thank you.
if we can have it as an agenda item, that
Well,
gives you some background.
You've got it wrong. It wasn't Peter, the groundwork. Peter Murphy. It was a lady called Lindsay Davison, because I dealt with her. The other thing is, there's no legal owner, it's bunkum, rubbish. Every piece of land in this country was allocated to somebody or somebody, one, through the Enclosure Act. Read it carefully. The other thing is, the Hemingway Parish Council was the accountable body to get the money from lottery and claim the VAT, and that was in the original constitution. Someone took a paragraph out. And that was when I fell out with the whole thing and I said, this is wrong, it's going wrong. I'm getting out of this. You can look for what you like after that. But there is a legal owner, and I know who it is.
Well, the solicitors apparently couldn't find it.
Well, they don't know their job.
That's what the base solicitors for, isn't
They get paid to do a job. And I can prove them wrong.
it?
And I will do one
It's
day.
satisfied the lottery people that there's no legal owner. Well, they wouldn't have
That
given
was,
you
that
more
was
money.
based, that was based on two things which I didn't agree with. A signpost put with the parish council and the word of a retired councillor. Based on that.
Anyway, I don't think we're going anywhere with
No,
that.
you aren't. No.
At the moment, we've got an established situation which is it was decreed to have no legal owner, and grants have been paid to the existing committee on the basis that they are now presumed to be the legal owners.
No, there's